Today's edition of Toggle's Daily Video Insights. We'll take a look at Novartis today, and as many of you already know, we take a look at one of Toggle's insights every trading day. And if you'd like to see more of these, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We try to highlight some interesting situations, important drivers that are likely to drive stocks up or down over the near term, as shown by Toggle, the system that we're using specifically to be able to monitor a large amount of data and highlight interesting relationships. The situation that's being highlighted today is basically a sell-off in Novartis that seemed to have gone far enough where what has been a persistent number of downside price pressures in Novartis has now suddenly turned into a potentially quite positive situation. So what we're going to do here is take a look at this latest insight that Toggle has published. What it's basically saying is that the stock price looks oversold after the move that we've seen here, and over the horizon within the next 3 months you would expect the price to move from 86.50 to about 94.14, again within this confidence interval. The reason why we have a confidence interval here is that looking back over the previous 11 occasions when the stock had been similarly oversold, Toggle tries to figure out what the acceptable range is consistent with these past patterns to still reflect oversold condition as the driver. Now again, if you were to dip below the confidence interval and particularly below this red line, this is usually a sign that the position needs to be looked at and potentially reassessed, because there's obviously substantial downside risk, and below this line the odds of this pattern and this driver still being relevant would be significantly diminished. Now a good thing to always do is to take a look at when else these oversold conditions have occurred, and what you always want in a pattern like this is to see quite a robust relationship. So a situation where these oversold conditions have happened through business cycles, and you can see here this persists through the 2000s, through the global financial crisis, and it typically does coincide with a bounce in the stock price. Again, this is a visual assessment that we're doing here, but we'll shortly look at the statistical one as well, and typically it was quite a good entry point for the stock. Going to the backtest portion, this is exactly what I was mentioning before. So again, this chart here on the left is simply showing you the shift in the distribution of returns. So they tend to be far more positive over a 3-month horizon when the stock has been this oversold compared to any arbitrary 3-month horizon in the stock price history. So this is the kind of bullish shift that you want to see in a driver like this. And here what we're seeing is from those past 11 episodes that the system had highlighted and studied, these are the actual returns that you saw over that 3-month period in the aftermath. So you can see that a substantial number of them, in fact almost all of them, had been positive, significantly so in some cases reaching up as high as 10%, and only a small number of them had been negative, but there have been some that reached as low as -5%. This again is the P&L accumulated to give you a little bit of a sense of how this insight would have performed if you had traded on each one of them. And again, it's quite a nice relatively smooth curve going on for quite a number of trading days. Again, so much for Novartis today. Take a look, see if it fits with your fundamental conviction. If you have the daily brief, should be in your mailbox already. And today we take a look and explain what happened with rates and equity prices yesterday. Otherwise, sign up at toggle.global and you'll start receiving it shortly. Thanks for your attention. See you soon.